My research has focused on American religion. I have studied religious communities and religious institutions and individual people's religious beliefs and commitments. My name is Penny Edgell, and I'm a distinguished university teaching professor in the Department of Sociology at the University of Minnesota. This year at the Russell Sage Foundation, I'm working on a book, and the book focuses on changes in the American religious landscape since the 1990s. There are far fewer Americans who are involved in local religious communities, especially mainstream religious communities, and most especially white Christian ones. In 1990, well over 80% of Americans identified as white Christians. Now that's about 43%. This is a dramatic decline, and it's had a real impact on religious institutions and on local communities. But there are lots of people who are building new non-religious identities. People who think of themselves as atheists or as spiritual but not religious. And those folks are participating in communities and networks and new kinds of organizations. My research is leading me to believe that the story of what has happened since 1990 isn't a story of decline, it's a story of change. And it's a story of the emergence of new ways of making meaning, new ways of forging identity that are going to lead people not only to fulfilling lives, but to involvement in their local communities in meaningful ways. And the book that I'm working on this year at the Russell Sage Foundation is both describing those changes and also figuring out what their implications are. To write the book, I'm drawing on several different sources of social science data. I have a couple of original surveys that I have fielded myself with colleagues. One, the American Mosaic Project survey, has 3 different waves of survey data, and it asks people about their religious identity and their spiritual identity, but also about their political values and their social commitments. I also have a data set called the Nonreligious Engagement and Well-being survey that is a national sample that has enough non-religious individuals that we can look at the sources of well-being and social support for those who embrace non-religious identities. There are also secondary survey sources like the General Social Survey that have relevant information for my topic. And finally, I have access to a data set called the American Voices Project, which is a sample of in-depth interviews with a random sample of Americans. These data sources allow me to make some generalizable claims about what is going on with Americans as a whole, but also to dive in a little bit about what these changes mean to people. This time at the Russell Sage Foundation is a real gift. It's really been amazing as an experience, and it's really helped me, I think, to develop ideas for a book that will be much better, more thoughtful, more engaging, and more relevant.